So we have to understand we've got fish that are high in mercury. We've got, we're not even talking about all the aluminum in our tap water, right? We're not even talking about the cadmium that's in a lot of our processed foods, or bromines, or what about arsenic in a lot of rice-based products, especially, you know, the kids growing up, 1 year old, 2 years old. Oh, give them rice cereal, give them rice crackers. Well, here's the problem. Unless it's coming from a clean company, guess what? That's most likely loaded with arsenic. And I'm not saying this to scare you, but it is a fundamental truth that you're not going to be told from, you know, big food or conventional medicine. They have never been, well, certainly big food knows about it, but conventional medicine, they've just never been talked about this, right? Or taught about it. This is just not within their wheelhouse. And that's okay, right? Your medical doctor is not an omniscient power that knows everything. And we have to stop treating medical doctors like that, or any doctor or any practitioner. They don't know everything. There's too much to know. So what do they know? They know disease, and they know how to medicate it to mask symptoms. And that could save your life. So there's nothing wrong with that. You should have a medical doctor, but you should also have a natural health practitioner. The natural health practitioner will make sure, hopefully, that you don't end up in your medical doctor's office except for once a year for your annual checkup, right? That's the goal. They work together, but they're very different, two different paths. So anyway, in our environment, we're breathing in smog and pollution and all these things, and we get heavy metals in our body. And unfortunately, it's not going to get any better. It's really not. And that's because government has given big corporations and big food and big pharma way too much power. I mean, they really have. And it's not hard to see how it happened. It's that they pay for them to get into office, right? And this goes for both Republican and Democrat. I'm not saying that like one is better than the other. So, you know, I don't want to get into that argument today because I'm not a political person. I'm a people person. And I just think that when you start to mix a lot of politics in there, and I know people love politics. I'm just sorry. I'm not your person for that. But what I care about is what happens to people in the end. And when, you know, billions of dollars are exchanged and trillions are at stake for the, you know, GDP. And a lot of that comes from big tech, big pharma, big food. And I'm leaving out another big somewhere in there. It's a problem. It really is. It is. So what do we have to do? Well, we look out for ourselves. That's the truth, right? We start to understand that, excuse me. We start to understand that a water filter, you know, buying organic food as much as we can, using non-antiperspirant deodorants that contain aluminum, not using aluminum foil, as few plastics as we can. We start to do things like that. We start to take better care of ourselves. We don't have to rely as much then on necessarily government or corporations or whatever it might be. And that's just something I think we can all teach each other, right? We try to do that inside of the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute, IHP. We try to put what's called a health coach in every home. You don't need to work with 1,000 people a year. You can simply learn more about your own health, right? And then you teach your kids or your parents or your siblings or your community or your church or your whoever it might be, whoever will listen, right? And that's really what it's all about. It's grassroots-based efforts. So we have to look at this, I think, a little bit more holistically, is that we can't bury our head in the sand as the ostrich would do, right? What we have to do is we have to realize, okay, the world is a little bit of a dirty place, right? I love the world. I love being in this world. I really do. I'm a happy person. I really am. But at the same time, I'm not going to deny the fact that when I walk outside, the air is pretty polluted. I don't live in the mountains. It'd be great if I did, but even still, there's some pollution, right? I know that we probably shouldn't drink from a lot of the water sources now because of all the metals and different pharmaceutical drugs that are in there. I talked about that and the rain barrel effect as well. So again, I just understand, and I'm an optimist with a heavy dose of realism. I really am. I always believe things can get better. I always believe that we can help each other out, but I am realistic about what's going on around us.